Yeah, I mean.
Jamil, what are you doing?
It's what he does to me with these clips. You'll see.
Okay.
We have no clue what is about to happen to us.
Should be fun, dude.
Yeah. Wow.
I saw that. I did see that clip. I thought that was funny.
Here we go. And he has everyone who listens thinking the only thing I say is, yeah, wow. Fox News. And Fox News.
Right. Yeah, you're probably right on most of it, though. When you say that's all you need to say is Fox News.
It was just the way you said it was so perfect. Like that should be their bumper
It
sound
should
clip.
not be.
In fact, I'm going to submit it to them to see if
Oh
they'll
my
just take
gosh.
Who knows? Maybe you'll get some royalties.
it. Right. Oh, yeah. Hey, make some money.
All royalties aren't good. I don't want those.
Make some MAGA money.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions, Stacey?
No, I don't think so.
All right. 3 and 2 and 1. Welcome to episode 77 of Black, White, and Blue in the South, the podcast discussing Democratic politics with a Southern flair. I'm Bill Kimler.
I'm Jamil Brooks.
And I'm Stacey Mars.
And we're coming to you from Greenwood, South Carolina, a little red county in a very red state. If you like what you hear and think others ought to be listening as well, then you need to hit pause right now and leave a rating for our show. Write a short review. Tell your friends about us. Interact with us on social media, or better yet, turn green with jealousy because guess whose wife got him tickets to see this famous comedian?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I can't believe it. Spanish? He's going to speak Spanish?
That is comedian Josh Johnson.
No way.
How about that, huh?
You are-
one of the most
wow.
brilliant comedic minds out there and one of the best storytellers.
Carla really got
Yes.
you tickets?
Carla got us tickets. Got us a pair of tickets to go see him in
wow.
Charlotte in April.
How
Oh,
cool
you
is
are
that?
so lucky.
Now, Carla is opposite of me in the political realm, believe it or not. And I was surprised the other day as she's walking around the house listening to Josh Johnson playing on her phone.
Really?
And I said, you like him? Oh, yeah, I love him. I'm on his mailing list. I go, really? Oh, I like him too. Next thing I know, she is like coy with me. And she says, I got your birthday gift. My birthday's in December. She says, I got your birthday gift, and I want to tell you, but don't, if you don't want to know, I don't want to know. She's like, oh, I want to tell you though. So that lasted about 30 seconds, and finally she had to spill the beans.
Wow.
That she was on his mailing list and got an early alert for 2 shows in a small comedy club in Charlotte.
Wow.
And they sold out within 10 minutes. And
bet
she
so.
she got a pair of tickets.
Wow.
So I am
amazing.
psyched. So anyway, I want our listeners to hear Josh Johnson. He is a brilliant mind. He's been for years a writer and a host for The Daily Show. He's a highly successful touring comic, young guy too. Just a genius. Yeah. Just a genius. But I want you to hear this clip of him talking about Bad Bunny. Who's Bad Bunny?
That was a great clip.
Right? Bad Bunny is
Yes.
the Puerto Rican rapper, singer, record producer who was tapped on the shoulder to do the halftime performance at this upcoming Super Bowl, which blew MAGA's mind.
Couldn't take it.
Sent them into strokes and conniptions and aneurysms, and they're to this day they're still upset about it.
Yeah.
So this is Josh Johnson talking about Bad Bunny.
I'm gonna have to sit there and listen to somebody sing and rap in Spanish. I already had to listen to rap. You know what that was like for me? You know what that was like for me to hear rap in between the game I bet on? I'm gonna have to sit there and listen to somebody Spanish. I'm gonna have to sit there listening, watching the Super Bowl halftime show to Spanish. I'm gonna have to sit there with my guacamole and my chips in my lap, listening to Spanish. I am gonna have to sit there while I eat the tacos that I Uber Eats to my place, listening to Spanish. The idea that I could have a deluxe crunch wrap and have to listen to Spanish is crazy. Not in my America. Spanish? Are you serious? can't believe I'm going to have to listen. I want all the Spanish in my mouth. I don't want it in my ear.
Yep.
Absolutely brilliant. An interesting thing to remember about Puerto Rico, and this was an article from the Conversation news feed that I follow. It is home to 3.2 million United States citizens by birth, right? If it were a state, which it is not, if it were a state, it would be the 30th largest by population.
Wow.
According to the most recent census. Hey, I'm going to give you a quick pop trivia between you and Stacey.
Okay, here we go.
South Carolina, more residents than Puerto Rico or less residents than Puerto Rico?
South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Less.
Remember, Puerto Rico
Less.
would rank 30th. Where would South Carolina be?
Not 30.
Oh, yeah.
Higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower, right?
Yeah.
No, actually, they're higher. South Carolina ranks 23rd. We are in the upper half of United States state populations.
Oh, that's just all
Remember,
the people
we're
moving
competing
down
with
here.
Rhode Island. We're competing with Montana and Wisconsin and Nebraska, all them large states with no people in it. So South Carolina, with our cities of Columbia and Greenville and Charleston, we're 23rd in the nation in terms of population, believe it or not.
That's mind-boggling.
I know it is. It's crazy. But anyhow, the sad thing is that it is a colony of a bygone era of U.S. overseas imperial expansion. I'm quoting this article now.
Okay.
Puerto Ricans do not have voting representation in Congress.
That's true.
And they do not help elect the President of the United States.
That's right.
They're also divided over the island's future. If you go to Puerto Rico and ask around, most either want U.S. statehood or some enhanced form of their Commonwealth status, but there are a few that want complete independence from them entirely. Anyhow, it's funny that the Super Bowl has had performers like the Rolling Stones and Phil Collins and all these other Coldplay and all these other performers from overseas. Nobody batted an eye saying it wasn't American.
Right.
But you bring in an American,
Yeah.
Bad Bunny,
Yeah.
they lose their freaking minds.
Crazy.
Anyhow, let us know what you think by dropping us a note at blackwhiteblueinthesouth@gmail.com. You can also interact with us. Now check this off, Stacey, because I want you to follow all of us here. Ready? You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Mastodon, and Blue Sky.
You ever heard of Mastodon?
I have.
Yeah.
But when it first came out, it looked really complicated.
Okay.
But y'all got a CVS receipt.
That's exactly, it's Bill. It's Bill.
Gotta hit the people where they are.
Yeah.
Just take a quick peek at those award-winning show notes on your podcast app, where you can find links to all of those accounts, the news items we talk about, and more. All right, as far as openings go, that was a good one. We
I
did
think
good.
so.
We did good.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just end the show on a good note.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I like
Stacey, for coming by. This was a
Absolutely.
great
Thanks for
show.
having
You
me,
did
guys.
great. Well, before we get into our material for today, a big thank you to Dr. Jermaine Johnson.
Yay.
He absolutely elevated our show last episode.
He crushed it.
Jealous.
Let me tell you, we
crushed
had
it.
the exclusive interview with him since he announced for governor. The first and only podcast that has had him on.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get him on.
Oh
Yes.
man, he was a home run. This
Yeah.
guy, we will be having him back next year for sure.
Okay.
But this guy would elevate South Carolina as well if he were
Oh, my
governor,
goodness.
no doubt.
No doubt.
In the show notes, I want to turn your attention to the show notes, please. I'm talking to you who are listening to us right now. We want you to help us raise $2,500 for Dr. Jermaine Johnson by the end of this year. We have a challenge here in Greenwood County to raise $2,500.
We can do that.
And there is a special link that if you put in some bucks right now, $5, $10, $25, shoot, go right with the $2,500 and get us out of this pickle.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. But it all comes to the Greenwood account for Dr. Jermaine Johnson.
Let's
so
do it.
we want to be the first to hit that goal.
Okay.
We're asking you, the millions of listeners who are listening to us right now, if you would please contribute.
Yeah.
You don't have to be from Greenwood to do this. Any listener of our show is considered an honorary member of Greenwood County for the purpose of this fundraiser.
It's kind of like a Save South Carolina fund is really what it is.
It really is.
You know,
it really is.
Help him get elected, Save South Carolina.
So let's let Dr. Jermaine Johnson know that we support him for a new SC.
Yeah.
Speaking of new SC, the Greenwood County Democratic Party held our annual banquet 2 weeks ago as we're recording this.
Yeah.
And Dr. Jermaine Johnson was our keynote speaker. He talked about a new SC in his speech, and there's YouTube links to his speech. Phenomenal. He knocked it out of the park without any notes.
Wow.
He riffed for 36 minutes.
No notes. That's cool.
It was incredible. What was your impression of the banquet overall?
I thought it was great. It was packed. People were excited.
250 paying tickets.
Yeah.
We have never hit numbers like that here in Greenwood before. Record breaking.
And if you had room, you probably would have had more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, our chair wants to go for 400 next year.
Okay. Oh, that's ambitious.
I think he's looking to get Barack Obama to come speak, to draw that kind of crowd.
Yeah.
Him or Hillary.
Yeah.
But what you did miss, Jamil, because you had to leave that banquet early.
I know.
You had to walk out because you had some other important engagement.
Yeah.
But you missed my introduction
of
Dr. Jermaine Johnson.
But I saw it.
I'm sure you did, but our listeners may not have.
Let's do it.
So we're going to play my introduction where, well, I'm not going to say what I did, but it was a surprise to him, and it went off better than I expected in my mind. Let's give this a watch.
Okay.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the keynote speaker for tonight. And I would like to do so with an original poem that I wrote. It's not a limerick. It's an actual poem. They were laughing at me up there on the dais. We live in a time where promises have been broken and America ain't feeling so great. We live in a time where men behind closed doors conspire to determine your fate. We live in a state where we're so full of promise and potential, yet disappointment and despair reign free. We live in a state that God has made naturally beautiful, yet men have sullied and spoiled it for greed. It is time that we once again hope and dream and shout and scream for the rights we were promised, for the freedoms we're due, for the opportunity to be the fullest me and the fullest you. It is time to get angry. It is time to be free. It is time to fight back. It is time for a new SC. Ladies and gentlemen, will you stand up? Stand up and greet the next governor of the state of South Carolina with a chant. New SC, new SC, new SC, new SC, new SC.
I love it.
You got me ready to stand up.
I know.
Y'all, we can go home now. I don't need to say nothing after that, y'all. Oh, my God. Thank you so much to my good buddy Bill here.
Wow.
That's great.
That was cool, Bill.
So there were two ways that could have gone. I could have been up there chanting by myself and everybody sitting there just staring into space.
It wasn't going to happen.
Well, it could have. I mean, it's every person's nightmare.
Yeah.
But the fantasy was everybody stood up and chanted, and they did. And it 250 in a packed auditorium, all standing and chanting, and that was the welcome I had envisioned for this man to be our next governor. So
that's cool.
That was a lot of fun.
Wow. That's cool.
And finally, before we get to our guest here, I need to share with you that we got a glowing review.
Oh, we did?
On the iTunes. Yes, we did. On the Apple Podcast. I don't know if it's called iTunes anymore. But this came from Charlotte ASDKFJL. I think this person started typing their name and then face planted on the keyboard. Maybe it means something. I don't know. But Charlotte ASDKFJL wrote, "Great local South Carolina podcast. I wouldn't write a review if I were you, because they are probably going to read it on the air."
And will.
And yes, we did. It gives the impression that no one listens to this show, but that can't be right because this is the best show ever. Thanks, Mom.
Oh.
Bill is so thorough in his show prep, and Dr. Jamil is so smart and funny. Hey, I want to be smart and funny.
Hey, don't you do it. Don't interrupt the flow.
There's no ads, so it's like a premium membership, but also means they aren't making any money. Thanks for keeping us informed about local politics.
How cool is that?
Well, I'll have you know that as of today, we have started a premium membership, and if you are not a member, this is the end of what you're going to hear. So if you want to hear the rest of this episode, send $100 to blackwhiteblueinthesouth@gmail.com.
Oh my God.
But thank you, Charlotte, whoever you are. That was very nice. And we do read the reviews because every one of them mean a lot to us. They really do. So we want to share with others to encourage more of this. I'm ready to quit every day. I'm ready to quit this show.
No, you're not.
That's true.
Okay.
I've told you a million times this is the highlight of my life.
Yes.
Well, let us turn our attention to our guest. We welcome to the Black, White, and Blue in the South studios, Stacey Mars. You're not a doctor by chance, are you?
I am not a doctor.
Yeah, this is like the first non-doctor guest we've had in 3 months. So.
Oh, God. I'm not sure if this is good or bad.
Yeah, what do you got? What can I call you? Just Stacey? Okay.
Just call me Stacey.
All right, wonderful.
gosh.
Well, Stacey, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank
there
you so
it is.
much.
Our fanfare.
Thank you, guys.
I know,
Thank you. Thank you.
Stacey is chair of the Greenville County Democratic Party.
Yeah.
She's a podcast host in her own right, co-host of the Whole Truth podcast. She is also, Jamil, did you know, a graduating member of the 2021 cohort of Emerge SC.
Yes, I did know. Yes, I did.
Wow. And then Jamil also, did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know that Stacey is a certified Kentucky colonel? Turn your attention to the screen. She is a certified Kentucky colonel. She can walk into Kentucky with all the rights and privileges of the rank of colonel.
You can call me Colonel.
Maybe that's it. Colonel Stacey Mars.
Bill, did you make that?
No.
Is this legit?
It is legit. It is legit.
Look who it's from. Did you see who it's from? Who gave that to her?
Yeah.
What'd that say, Bill?
It says Governor Andy Beshear, Governor of Kentucky.
Go, wait a minute.
Yeah, he came to Greenville.
No, no.
You may have forgotten.
No.
He did.
Yeah, Andy Beshear came to South Carolina.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that. Didn't he speak? He spoke at Newberry as well, or no? That was Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Andy Beshear came, and he's a Democratic governor of Kentucky.
Yeah.
He came here to Greenville. He spoke at different places in the state about a couple months back, 2-3 months ago.
Yeah, it was
Like
summertime.
August. Yeah. And so Stacey was there, and she got
we helped put it together. And
she, instead of a scepter on the shoulders, was like a chicken wing from KFC that went on each shoulder, and then she was.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it is. It is. It was a very nice surprise.
Did you know it was coming?
I did not. His campaign manager just asked for my address, and we did this in conjunction with Spartanburg as well. So he asked me and Catherine for our addresses, and we were just sent it and went on about our days, and opened the mail, and we have that. And I think Crystal got one as well, so she's a colonel as well.
So you have to understand why I'm hesitant.
Yeah.
Because whenever Bill does these introductions, he's very crafty. And so he knows that I will fall for it. So I kept going from your eyes to his eyes to see if I could see if it was a lie.
It is very true.
Jamil, I broke you. I am so sorry. You are broken. You've turned into the most untrusting individual.
Right. She's like, no, that's not true.
I just kept looking from your eyes to Stacey's eyes going, wait a second.
There was something else you didn't believe me about that I had to convince you 10 times was the case.
I don't know.
It was at the banquet, and you were asking me if I had brought like some sort of mirror decorations for the tables. I'm like, no. You're like, no, seriously, Bill. Did you bring them? I'm like, no. Okay, enough joking, Bill. Like 10 times. Back when I'm like, I don't know what the flip you're talking about. I really, really don't.
So he gets up at the front of the room. He turns around. He said, I don't have it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, stop playing.
Yeah.
He didn't have it.
It went on for a half hour.
He did. And he was telling the truth.
Well, anyway, back to you, Stacey. What is it that brought you to our show today? Because I don't think you were a planned guest.
No, I wasn't. I actually just reached out to you and I was like, hey, can I shadow you guys? And you're like, yeah. Oh, and by the way, since you're coming, you're going to be a co-host.
Yeah.
Just said, okay.
That's what we do.
We don't let baby sit in the corner. Let's just sit there and watch.
Yeah, and that's really all I was going to do. I just wanted to
So you
see
have a
how you guys
podcast
do
of your
it.
own that you've started as an extension of the Greenville County Democratic
Yes.
Party, right? And you're into your 7th episode already, last I counted.
Yes.
And so you wanted to shadow us because...
Well, I've never done this before.
Okay.
And I just feel like you can always learn.
Yeah.
We're doing our things, but I'd like to, I'm a bit of a perfectionist for anybody that doesn't know me. So
we get along well.
I'm always trying to find ways to improve and do things better. And so, thankfully, Bill has been patient with my million questions that I've been asking just to, see where we can improve. So, like I say, I'd never done it before. My team, they were dying to do it, and I guess they caught me on a good day, and I said, okay, let's go for it. And really, the intent was not even for me to be a co-host.
Wow.
I did not want it. but they were like, you're the chair. And I was like, okay.
And?
Right.
Yeah.
But it started always saying, I'll just do one a month. And somehow I managed to stay on
That's cool.
all of them. So
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just been an evolving thing for us. And so, like I said, I just wanted to get better. And I thought, well, I got neighbors down the street who have been doing this for a while. Let me go see what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's fantastic.
I think that's cool.
yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your background then. What do we need to know about Stacey before I dig into the reresearch that I've done and tell you all about you?
Oh, wow.
And I found some dirt, so you better
Oh,
cough it up all now while you can.
Oh, man. Let's see. Where do we start?
Start with the dirt first.
No, I mean, I'm South Carolina born and raised, Greenville, right down the street. Lived there pretty much all my life. Moved away a couple times, and I've always been interested in politics, even as a kid. As a nerd.
Where'd you graduate?
I graduated from Woodmont High School, and
cool.
yep, right down the street. And then I went to Erskine and got my degree there.
Oh.
So yeah, I told you.
She's an MBA.
Yeah, I got that from Strayer.
Hey,
So,
do you know who
yeah.
else graduated from Strayer with a master's?
Who?
Dr. Jermaine Johnson.
No way.
If you listen to our last
Look at
episode,
that.
you learn all about it. You
man,
two might have
wow, he
been
just called me out.
co-graduates.
It happened so fast.
Right.
I almost
Yeah, I was paying attention.
feel.
So yeah, but I didn't really get involved until about 2019.
What was
That
the
was-
trigger moment for you to get involved?
Trump's election. I woke up mad the very next day, and not so much mad that people had elected him. I was mad at myself for not doing enough. All I did was voted.
Yeah.
And so I said, I can't let that happen again. And so, I think that was around the time Kamala Harris had gotten elected as senator in California. And so I
Yeah.
started following her, and I was like, this lady's going to run for president. I can feel it. Right. And then she started coming to Greenville, and I was like, I really want to be a part of this, because I didn't do anything on Obama's campaign or anything like that. I just didn't know. And I was like, this is my shot.
Yeah.
And so I went to her rally, and I signed up to be a volunteer thinking that nobody was going to call me.
And you got called.
And I got called.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so it just kind of went from there. I never expected to be where I am today.
Yeah.
That wasn't that just wasn't where I was looking.
You've
I just
worked on
wanted
Jamie Harrison's campaign. You've worked on Kamala Harris's campaign as a phone bank captain.
Yeah, that was how I
Yeah.
started.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
just, I think my past kind of prepared me for it, because I'd done cold calling before, and
Yeah.
I door knocked before, and that kind of thing for business, for work. And so when they were like, oh, this is what we do, I was like, this is easy.
Yeah, like nothing. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Well,
So
you go from volunteering for campaigns, and then you actually signed up for official training through Emerge SC. How did you come across that?
I did. So,
And this
Bill-
was this before you or after you, Jamil?
She was before me.
1 year
Really?
before you. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were the COVID class.
Yeah.
And so we did everything virtually. It was really Samantha Wallace. I was working on her county council campaign, and she had helped to found the South Carolina Emerge. And so I'm getting to know her and Amanda McDougall Scott. Emerge kept coming up. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll just see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this wasn't really on my radar to do as a full-time thing. And so I applied, and it was a pretty rigorous process. I learned a lot, and that's where it kind of was like, oh, this can be real for me.
Yeah.
And so
It's kind of interesting that I met. How did I meet you, Stacey? Who? So I was
it
on
was
the campaign
during
trail.
your class. It was during your class, your Emerge class. Y'all did an event in Seneca or somewhere like
Yes.
that.
Yes, that was our first encounter.
Yes, and that's where I met you. And I kept saying, Jamil, let me work on your campaign.
Yeah.
And you kept saying, well, I'll think about it.
Yeah. And then I don't know who. I think it might have been Jessica who said, "You've got to call Stacey."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Stacey, like I don't know what I'm doing." Type thing. And
Yeah.
Stacey looked me in my face. We had a meeting. Stacey looked me in my face without a blink and was like, "Girl, saddle up and get yourself together because you got work to do." And I was like, "Yep."
Wow.
Yeah, she was like, no nonsense. These are the things. And this was the walk away comment. It was pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing, it was pretty much, here's what I'm looking for. Try to get yourself together. Okay, talk to you later. And I was like, oh what was that? Yeah. About
You
business.
got some harsh truth.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
And it was worth it. Loved her ever
So
since.
you haven't run for office yourself except
not.
for the Greenville County Democratic Party chair, and you actually launched a campaign.
I did.
Like you did materials, you got endorsements, you took that
did.
seriously. Wow. Did you have competition?
I did.
She probably doesn't even notice.
Until the day, up until the day before the convention, and they dropped out.
Ooh. Well, I would. I'm completely intimidated sitting next to you as it is, so I would have dropped out as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I ran it like that. I wasn't sure if I was going to until it came out.
Yeah.
The list of people came out, and so, I mean, I think any candidate should run their race, in that you run it. You do as much as you possibly can to intimidate other people into staying out of the race.
Yeah, buddy.
Good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So give me one surprising thing that you've encountered as chair that you didn't know about ahead of time.
I think the personalities, just the number of personalities that you have to manage. I mean, I knew it would be a lot, but it's like consistent every day. And there's just always something new. Like, I thought after the elections, I would get a chance to just kind of like, whoosh.
Yeah.
And no, city council brings up an anti-camping ordinance. And then, there are just a number of other factors that came up. And I was like, well, so much for that.
Yeah. There's no rest for the weary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So outside of the political world, what do you do for a living?
I work for a health insurance agency. I am a marketing representative.
Okay.
And so it's been, people start talking about health insurance and the subsidies and all that's in the news right now. And so just seeing it from both sides is interesting to say the least.
I'm glad I asked, because I had you down with a completely different job with JC and Associates. Is that no longer the case?
No, that's not. I thought I updated that. No.
Well, it's not you. It's on their website.
Oh,
your face and name is plastered on the front page. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't worked with them in a few years. Yeah.
Dang.
I'm actually doing my own thing now when I am able to consult. Like being chair has taken up a lot of time, and so I kind of stepped away from it. But when I guess when I get done with this, I'll go back to it. But
you're never done with it. Ask Bill.
Okay. Well, when it's not my full time thing, how about that? I will start consulting again, and I don't mind doing it on the side now. It's just that I have a full time job of doing this, and so I can't.
Well, we're glad you spent time with us today. You're an interesting individual.
She is.
But we actually have an agenda to get through.
Oh, let's do it.
So let's do this. The very first thing we're going to start off with...
Your South Carolina representatives at work.
How's that? Professional or
That's
what?
amazing.
Wasn't that cool?
That's really cool.
Well, Jamil, you actually came up with the topic today. We're going to talk about South Carolina lawmaker pay.
Yeah.
Because that has been in the news. In fact, something that even Dr. Jermaine Johnson brought up in our last episode, because he was highly involved in the opposition to this. So do you want to summarize it? You want me to take you through a summary? How would you like to work this?
You summarize.
Okay.
I like the flow that way.
So we're going to talk about how South Carolina lawmakers get paid. And I'm going to start with some basic facts before we get into how they decided to tweak it.
Okay.
So as it sits by the rules of South Carolina lawmaking, state house reps and Senate's representatives, they make a base salary of $10,400.
Yeah.
All right. That is not been changed since 1990.
90 or 95?
90. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
90 since 1990 they've been making base salary of $10,400.
Yes.
Right, now you're not going to live off that, not for all the work you put in.
No.
And yes, it's not a full-time legislative body, but it might as well be. If you're a good lawmaker, you're representing your people all day, every day, whether you're in session or not.
Yeah.
In addition to that, they also get $1,000 a month in this what's called in-district expenses, but it's treated as taxable income. So in addition to the 10 grand, they get another 12 grand supposedly to handle all of your mailings and whatever you have to do, your travel in district, staff if you have any, advertisements, whatever it is you do with that money is up to you, but there's no tracking or tracing of it.
Yeah.
It's meant for your in-district expenses. They also get $240 a day per diem while they're in session. That adds up to $16,000, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. But it's to cover meals and hotels and whatever, whether you live in Columbia
or
and
not.
you roll out of bed. or you come all the way from Beaufort or up in Pickens, it's the same amount either way. So when you add it all up, you're talking between $35,000 to $40,000 a year. You're not getting rich being a lawmaker, at least not as a paid salary, right? Even if you added all that up. But earlier this year, in May, we did a 2-part episode about this budget, right?
Yeah.
It was called the Big Budget Boondoggle.
Yeah.
But that was back in March. Months later, even after the session ended, they came back and had to make some tweaks to it to send it to the governor. And one of the things they added was a spending plan that raised the amount that they would receive for these in-district expenses from $1,000 to $2,500.
Yeah.
Now, as I'm sitting here thinking, I've sent out mailings before as a candidate. It's expensive.
It ain't cheap.
Money. It's like you send out a mailer, you could lose $2,500 just with one mailer going to a 10th of your district. I mean, that stuff's expensive. So they raised it, and I get it. But however, there were some problems. What are some problems, Jamil? What some of the opposition had to say about it?
The major thing was you raised it during your current term, which it's unconstitutional, so you can't do that. And the other thing was the people didn't know, like you don't raise it through the budget is what they're proposing. Those were the biggest flags for me. Not to say that no one needed it, but it's the timing of it, and no one knew it was happening.
Dr. Johnson, Jermaine Johnson, had an objection. He says, listen, this year, for the first time in years, they came out with a budget that did not allow for any earmarks to local charities or other organizations that got things happening in these rural communities and communities that need it.
Yeah.
They cut that out. I mean, zero.
Yeah.
None. And that sent a lot of these nonprofit agencies scrambling. So you cut out all the funds that actually went right to the people, but you're going to give legislators, again, not that they didn't need it, but the optics were bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
I think someone even said that their pushback was really about the 2026 elections. Accepting those raises and not standing up in opposition would ensure that some of those same people would not have their seats in 2026.
Right.
Because of the message that it would send back home.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, it passed this raise.
Yeah.
It passed the Senate 37-5 and the House 88-25.
Yes.
What's interesting are the House members who voted against this budget.
I know.
Dr. Jermaine Johnson was one of them, and he gave the reason, saying, listen, this looked bad when you cut out all your earmarks. This is not the way to do it. Who else voted against?
Gilda Cobb Hunter.
Gilda Cobb Hunter.
Yeah.
The House Freedom Caucus completely voted against this, including John McCravey.
Yeah, but did you see how Daniel Gibson voted?
Daniel Gibson was an
favor.
aye. He was in favor.
He was in favor.
So that was really interesting. And then over in the Senate, several Senate members who voted against, Wes Clymer.
Yeah.
We've talked about him in the past, in a past episode. We're going to talk about him again in a minute.
Okay.
Senator Tom Fernandez, one of our favorite goofballs in the Senate. We love to bring him up all the time. And also Margie Bright Matthews voted against it.
Yeah.
Like, these are not names we would ever put in the same sentence as having the same vote.
Yeah.
Right? Who voted for it? Billy Garrett from here in Greenwood.
Garrett.
He's like, yep, give me that money. Give me that
to me now.
extra $1,500.
Y'all sound so surprised.
Well, it didn't end with that vote, as bad as it looked, because one of the senators, Senator Wes Clymer, who happens to also be running for Congress, taking Ralph Norman's seat, since Ralph is running for governor.
Yeah.
Wes Clymer and his lawyer, former Democratic State Senator Dick Harpootlian.
Yeah.
So here we have Republican and Democrat filed a lawsuit to stop this from going into effect.
Did.
And then what happened?
It worked.
The state Supreme Court said, what the hell y'all doing?
Yeah, it worked.
So the funny thing is that, yes, this thing was completely unconstitutional. The Constitution, as clear as day, says you cannot raise or pay yourself in the term in which you're serving.
Yeah.
You want to set new rules for the next cycle, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Can't do it for the current one. Now, I think the argument from the lawmakers was, well, these are in-district expenses. It's not the same as salary, but they're taxed. I mean, there was just no way around it.
That was their support.
So, so this is what the opinion read. No matter how well-intentioned or long overdue, the result of the 126th General Assembly's increase in district compensation without either limiting language in the proviso or delaying implementation of the increase to the seating of the 127th General Assembly is to increase its own compensation, which our state constitution expressly prohibits. Yeah. But here's the kicker, Jamil. Not only did that raise get nixed, the original $1,000 they got.
Right.
they all got a pay cut now because
got me.
that whole thing got wiped out in this decision.
Sure did.
So they're showing back up now $1,000 a month poorer.
Poor. Yes, sure did. But you know, I would think like, because we know that the House and the Senate are full of attorneys. Nobody thought that through before we tried to push that on up.
Right.
Nobody said, hold on, wait, team. This is a potential issue. The few nays knew it was going to come back. But I'm just looking at the number of yays. It was mind-boggling. But I just thought it was so cool on how we always talk about bipartisan to see how the combination of the people that were voting no on was just amazing. Yeah. You wouldn't have seen those names together on any other doc, I don't think.
I just think it's funny that they lost 1,000.
They lost it.
It's like, wow, did that backfire?
And they deserve it because in reality, that is not an easy role. So I believe they deserve it. But you would have thought if you're going to push for this, that we would have dotted all our I's, crossed all our T's, because the majority of us are attorneys.
Right.
So if I had a magic wish, I would say make the lawmakers a full-time position.
Yes.
Pay them well. Right? So that it's not just the already wealthy who could afford to do so, because there's a lot of people in this room even, that can't give up their full-time jobs to go run for office or even, God forbid, serve, right? Heather Bauer was saying to us that she's sitting there doing work while sitting at her desk in the law office because you got to have a full-time job on top of this.
Yeah.
Make it a full-time job. Let this be all that a lawmaker works on year in, year out, pay them accordingly, and be done with it.
Yeah.
And these expenses for mailings, et cetera, it shouldn't be coming out of the lawmakers' pockets, I don't think. And I don't think they need to be going to their constituents to fundraise for it either. Fundraise for campaigning, but when you're trying to conduct your business, but then put rules around it. Like if you're going to give state money to conduct the business.
It has to be trackable.
Put ethics around it, put reporting around it, put something around it, just like you do with campaign finance.
Yeah.
To make sure it's not being spent on yachts and pools and stuff. But that's what it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this before we move on?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the campaign corner, talk about running for office and campaigns, etc.
I'm gonna live my life like I'm gonna die young, like it's never enough, like I'm born to run. I'm gonna spend my time like tomorrow won't come, do whatever I want, like I'm born to run. I wanna see Paris.
This is the part of the episode that always gets flagged by YouTube for having copyrighted songs, but they say the owner allows use, with that limited clip for what we do, so they give us a break and it goes through.
Thank you.
But I always look at that little flag and hang my head in shame.
Like,
oh, we're pirates.
We're trying.
We're making money off of their music.
Exactly.
This is normally where we talk specifically about candidates running for office, but instead we're going to talk about something that affects who runs and who can win congressional seats.
Ooh, talk about it, Bill. Talk about it.
Well, we're heading into an election year, and all across the nation, redistricting for congressional seats has been a hot topic. It all goes back to Trump's first term.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So he had a horrible first 2 years, and then he was elected in 2016 when the 2018 elections hit. Man, it wasn't just a blue wave. It was a blue tsunami.
Yes.
Flipped, 40 seats?
Yeah.
In Congress.
Yep.
Huge rebuke. I mean, it was bigger than anybody imagined it would be, right? 40 seats flipped in a huge rebuke to Donald Trump's agenda, which also led to articles of impeachment eventually, et cetera. And he's like, all right, I'm back in office again, round 2.
Yeah.
I ain't letting that happen
That's
to me.
That's exactly what he said.
I am not letting that happen to me a second time. So to attempt this, he ordered Texas here in the middle of the census cycle. Want you guys to redistrict and find me 5 more congressional seats. I am not going to have this flip happen on me.
Now, who didn't have a problem with the man saying that? That right there should have
Texas didn't have a problem.
Because they did it.
Right. So normally this is done every 10 years. So to do it in the middle of a decade is practically unheard of. In fact, according to the Pew Research Center, they need to get a better name, by the way. If they want to be taken seriously as a research center,
just go with it,
they can't be called Pew.
Just go with it. Pew.
Right, exactly. Who doesn't hear that, right? Let's just admit
thinking the same thing.
According to the Pew Research Center, we're all immature kids. They need to change their name, but that's a different story. But according to the Pew Research Center, since 1970, ladies, this is serious political discussions.
You said pew pew. Go.
Stacey, you're a bad influence on Jamil over here.
sorry.
She is normally
I'm
more
sorry.
serious. Right. Since 1970, only 2 states, Texas in 2003 and this year, and Georgia in 2005, have voluntarily redrawn their congressional maps between censuses for partisan advantage. But Texas did what Trump commanded. The federal court found it to be illegal.
Yeah.
Then later that afternoon, Supreme Court Justice Alito said, not so fast, and said, we're going to let that stay for now.
Thanks,
right?
Alito.
So now it's just back and forth,
can
back
always
and
count
forth.
on
And by
him.
the time this
Yeah.
episode airs, who knows where it'll sit.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop at Texas. But because they did that in Texas, now you've got California.
Shout out to California.
They
Right.
passed Prop 50. They didn't plan to. This wasn't in their plans.
Nope.
This was a direct response to Texas. So they passed it earlier this month, which could gain 5 seats.
Yeah.
The Republicans
Right.
thought they were going to gain in Texas.
That's right.
So that's been canceled out. And by the way, the Republicans had the damn nerve to cry foul in California
did.
and sue them.
They did.
I go,
They
please.
did. They did.
It's not even like they had the maps drawn
Yeah,
already.
they
They were
did.
just saying, we want to.
And we should. We should.
Right.
And the funny thing is, if Texas's attempt should prove fatal, let's say the Supreme Court ends up nixing Texas, the way California did it, they get to keep their 5 seats.
Keep 'em.
Like they originally had the law written that their redistricting would only be in effect, it'd be triggered if another state did it.
Yeah.
So, normally if Texas didn't do it, then California would, but they took that out the last minute. So when Prop 50 passed, it passed without that little clause. So now we got 5 seats in California, whether Texas goes through or not.
We appreciate that.
I mean, it's like,
Good
hey,
thing in
appreciate
California.
FAFO.
Yeah, that's
right?
it. That's it.
But it hadn't stopped with just those 2. Those are the 2 that you heard about. But other states have joined in. Missouri, Ohio, North Carolina, and possibly Florida and Indiana for
Yeah.
Republicans.
Yeah.
While Utah and possibly Virginia and Maryland will work to pick up seats for Democrats. It's chaos.
It is.
It is.
It's chaos. And who
It is.
launched this chaos?
Trump.
Donald Trump, the master agent of chaos in this nation.
Yeah.
But Jamil, South Carolina has not been immune to this middle of the decade redistricting discussion. No. Have they?
No.
Tell us what's happening in South Carolina. Actually, I got a news clip.
Do you? Can
Shall
we
I
see
play
it?
a news clip?
Please do.
Let's do this.
Please
This
do.
is from ABC News 4.
Okay.
Well, tonight, more on a continued Republican push to redistrict the state 4 years ahead of schedule. The new maps creating discourse on both sides of the aisle, with some stating these new maps are gerrymandering district lines. Our Cameron Lime spoke with map designers as well as political experts about the possible change. Cam?
Tessa, this new map was introduced earlier this week. Democrats now firing back, one calling the map a political weapon. But Republicans are looking to implement this new map before March.
But it is a political weapon when here you are in mid-decade trying to redistrict.
That's Mac Defford, congressional candidate for District 1.
Yeah.
Tonight, new concerns from Democrats in the state after plans for a new district map have been released.
It's giving that choice to the voters in 6th District, who for a long time
That's the head of the Freedom Caucus, Jordan Pace.
Yeah,
been locked
Jordan.
into this one guy and his fiefdom.
The new map could change the layout of District 1, 5, 6, and 7. Democrats believe the new map would gerrymander the only Democratic district in the state.
Yes.
And I always go back to intent when it comes to gerrymandering and really with anything in politics and policy. So I think that Representative Pace should very clearly articulate and carefully what his intent here is.
Pace, the designer of the map, claims that all districts are gerrymandered regardless.
Gerrymandering is going to happen, but what we don't want to do is gerrymander for a person. That is beyond the pale.
District
So it's
6
okay
is
to
currently
gerrymander for a party?
represented
Yeah,
by Jim Clyburn,
clearly.
who has held the seat since 1993. Political experts say while the map may look fair, the voter makeup of the district matters.
It's the connection right now of where do people live and what do they have in similarities to this. It'll be the key answers to those questions that will address the opportunity for this to move forward constitutionally.
And according to the 2024 census, District 6 is the only district to have a majority black population. We reached out to Representative Clyburn's office for comment and did not hear back in time for the report. Working for you, Cameron Limes, News 4.
Did you see how District 1 has shifted?
I mean, in the 2020 census, they did shift District 1, and they took a lot of the black voters out of District 1 and put it into District 6, Clyburn's district.
They did.
Now they're saying, oh, well, we can't have that. So we're going to split that up even further.
And so the reason that is because if you look at South Carolina's map, it is completely red. Mm-hmm. And if you are able to dilute his votes in District 6 and you're not able to gain District 1 Democrats, then you will have a completely red representation, which is not a good thing for South Carolina's population.
No, when you look at a presidential or gubernatorial election, what percent of the Democrats get the votes in a statewide election?
Yeah.
It's in the 40s, right? It's 44%, I think. So we're not looking at a 100% red state, yet they want to have 100% red congressional representation.
Yeah, and I don't want us to miss the fact that Pace had the audacity to say you don't gerrymander for a person. I need for us to understand he may not be, and the rest of the Republicans may not be gerrymandering for a person, but they damn sure are doing it for a party.
They did it for a person with Nancy Mace. Mm-hmm. Clear as day. They took what was a purple district that went Joe Cunningham to Nancy Mace, redistricted it so that she became easier to win. Mm-hmm. So they did redistrict for a person.
And look what they got.
The advantage that a Republican has, and you'll see it over and over again, is how they can just lie with a straight face. These lawmakers can say the most ludicrous things. You know, Jim Clyburn's kingdom, his fiefdom.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
When that's what you've done in every position that's ever.
Now, I think there is some historical context that I thought was interesting. According to the article from ABC, the root of Clyburn's district is found in Section 2 of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which allows the creation of majority-minority districts.
Yeah.
It also enables voters to sue and seek relief when they believe that the government is creating districts that limit their voting rights based on race.
Yeah.
So it's basically going to the part of the Constitution that says everybody has an equal vote. But when you dilute a certain population, they feel like their voting power is diminished and, again, unconstitutional. However, the problem is that the Supreme Court, given of its current makeup, has been finding various parts of that Voting Rights Act to be unconstitutional. At least they're in their view, right? It was constitutional back in 1965, but here in 2025, now all of a sudden it's not constitutional. They've been dismantling it. And there is a case in front of them right now about a black majority House district in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
So there's a case in front of them that a lawsuit has been placed saying that it relied too heavily on race. And if they lose that district, that could create a domino effect. And basically you lose all black congressional districts in the South. It's something that goes back to, gosh, the Reconstruction days, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to be right back to day one.
I don't want to get on my step stool, but when we was out here knocking on doors and screaming from the mountaintops, hey, this is one of the most important elections you are going to experience. Get your hinds up, make preparation to get to the polls, because we cannot let this thing happen. And I was thinking in my mind that we knew that Project 2025 was going to be horrendous, right? We knew that it was going to birth little pellets of chaos. We knew that. And now we're seeing different parts of what we knew and read come to fruition. And it's almost like it's a nightmare. And I don't know if y'all remember that show Punk'd.
Yes.
With Ashton Kutcher. Like, I don't know where he is, but I keep waiting for his ass to jump out at any second and say, I was just playing. This isn't for real. But it just keeps getting worse. If we lose Clyburn's district, South Carolina will be hellbound. I just don't see it in any other way, because who else is going to be trying to hold off like the monsters from us at that level right now? We have no one else speaking for us. And if you look at the ones that are there, it's clear that they're not thinking about that 44% of the people that's here trying to vote. They're only thinking about themselves.
Well, what I'm thinking about is how I'm going blind from the sun being right in my face.
I know, Bill. Do you see me shifting?
No, I can't see you at all.
I'm trying to,
quite honest with you.
Sorry. And I keep doing this. I'm trying to shift, but I can't. I'm sorry.
If you could stand up and lean to your right
what
a bit.
Do I look like? That's not happening.
Block the sun.
Shade.
Not happening.
You look awfully black to me from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, I just
see
black.
I see a silhouette. That's all I can see.
I know, Bill. But I
kept
saying the same thing, but I just keep going.
It's when the time changed and then the earth shifting that now the sun, even with that screen, is...
Pause. So for everybody that heard that, he did not mean I look black. He means I look black. It's a difference. So I don't want to see anything in the chat with that crap. Okay. But look, I just thought, let me clean that up, Bill. I get it. But I also want to pull out what we're seeing, and it's not just about the redistricting. So when we're talking about gerrymandering, what I want us to understand is that every time we as the people end up having to take something to the courts, legal fees are being accrued. This is a financial burden. Mm-hmm. I mean, we suing from both sides. We're suing. Who's going to pay these bills?
Sometimes you have to wonder if they're making these laws just to feed the legal machine and make themselves money.
And no one is talking about that. We just think, oh, we won big in court, but at what cost?
Yeah. Right. Well, we've got more topics to touch upon, and this week, Jamil is fired up on a few items that she has encountered in the news.
For up-to-the-minute reports, stay tuned to this station. Now the news.
Oh, this is a good topic for you, Jamil. I can tell this one was just dripping with fury and passion, and that is the dismantling of the United States Department of Education. Mm-hmm. So I want to first, again, give a little historical context.
Go ahead before my emotions take place.
Do you know when the original Department of Education was founded?
No, Bill.
Would you believe it was 1867?
Jesus.
Again, Reconstruction.
Really?
Right? There was a Department of Education. U.S. Congress created it to collect information to help states build better school systems. This was all during the Reconstruction era policies and the need to educate formerly enslaved people. The first public schools came to our country as a result of Reconstruction.
Okay.
However, opposition to it led it, just even within a year or two later, led to it being dismantled. I mean, you realize that Reconstruction was good for about 30 minutes, and then the black populations and the leaders lost all power. Like before the ink was even dry on the paperwork, they were out of power.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the modern department, as we know it, was reestablished in 1979 under the Carter administration. And again, it was an act of Congress. And what's the rule? What was done by an act of Congress can only be undone
by an act of Congress.
And now the goal of the Department of Education was to ensure equal access to education for all individuals, public education system, and more reporting and financial distribution, etc. So it began operating in May of 1980, but almost immediately thereafter, the Republicans and conservatives have attacked it from day one, even though its key functions are financial aid, data and research, equal access to education, and coordinating all these different programs. So it has been one of the most beneficial departments out there. Well, now that you've got Trump and Project 2025 in the mix, they wanted to dismantle it. They started by appointing who to be the head of the department. Why are you laughing?
Wrestler. No, my dad does not say wrestling. Shout out to my dad. Wrestling
The
lady.
head of wrestling. And not even the head of wrestling, though, the wife of the head of wrestling.
Yeah.
That's when we knew it was due.
Linda McMahon. This is the same lady who thought AI was A1.
Steak sauce.
Right? She says we have to get more A1 into the. She said we have to get more A1 into the schools. That was a legitimate quote from her. But did you know that she is involved to this day in a lawsuit called the Ring Boys lawsuit? Have you heard of this?
No.
So there are 8 plaintiffs who have alleged that they were sexually abused as minors in the 70s, 80s, and 90s by the McMahon organization. The details are in the show notes. It's graphic. I don't want to get into details, but it involves child and minor sexual abuse in the WWF.
Okay, so let me just say.
It's like birds of a feather.
Okay, because ain't nobody surprised by that, right?
Right.
Saying that to me was like, oh, okay, cool. Because that's
cool
typically who he surrounds himself with.
Yeah.
So this is who was put in charge. Again, birds of a feather. So what has happened? Do we have a vote from Congress to dismantle and decommission the Department of Education? Has there been an act passed?
No.
Nope. So what's been going on?
So they're slightly moving. So what you do is if you can't dismantle the right way, you pull away the low-hanging fruit. And then you start. So when there's nothing left but a shell, it's easy to knock that over. So it's one thing to the next thing. So first it was, attack funding. We can determine where the funds go. No funds coming to your school, you ain't got no school. No funds coming to your Department of Education, you ain't got no programs. Done deal. We didn't need Congress to do that. We just altered where our funds went. This is the thing that starts to infuriate
So you can have a Department of Education in title only.
Yes.
The words could be etched in stone.
Easy.
But
It's
it could
just a
be one
frame.
secretary sitting there playing solitaire on her
Correct.
computer.
Signing a invoice. that has been approved, right?
Well, obviously, the Supreme Court has intervened, right? And told Trump to knock this off?
No.
Oh.
No, you had thought about another Supreme Court. This one ain't it.
Not our Supreme Court.
No.
No, our Supreme Court says, no, that's perfectly fine.
It's perfectly fine.
Yes.
It's
So
perfectly
as
fine.
long as the department's still there's no specifications on, and this whole thing about Congress is in charge of the purse, right? So Congress says this department gets X number of funds, and so it has been appropriated. But now Trump seems to have gotten away with saying, well, we don't have to spend it.
Correct.
We don't have to give it away.
Correct.
And the Supreme Court has backed him up, even though I think it's obvious that if you are given the budget, you're supposed to use that budget for the purpose of your department.
But if you are able to present some type case that you are holding that budget because you are trying to evaluate or test to see if there's a level of effectiveness,
right,
that might entice the Supreme Court to say, well, let's just wait. Despite all of the educational shortfalls that we're experiencing, they'll support it with let's just wait and see what the reports show or something of that
what
nature.
Trump's doing is taking the responsibilities that were normally in this Department of Education, and now he's saying, well, we're going to move this over to the Department of Labor.
Correct.
Or the Department of Health and Human Services or some other department. So he's taking away their functions piece by piece,
yes,
giving them away to other departments, and that effectively makes the Department of Education go away.
Not only that, if you're watching what he's doing, there are parts of the Department of Education that will end up going under the Department of Justice.
Yes.
I got a problem with that. You talk about the prison, what is it? Pipeline to prison?
Yeah.
What in the world? What does DOJ have to do with anything on an academic level when it comes down to handling certain components?
Especially when this DOJ is full of the biggest dummies in the world. They can not win any suit that they've brought forward because it's just so ludicrous.
Yeah.
One interesting thing I saw in one of the articles you sent, who was this from? This was from Politico.
Mm-hmm.
The full amount of federal funding that will change hands between agencies was also not immediately clear, although a department official said the changes to K-12 and post-secondary education offices alone were estimated to affect roughly $31 billion in spending. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a lot of spending, right?
That's a lot. Yeah.
Guess what the Department of Defense spends?
What?
$1 trillion. $961 billion versus $31 billion in K-12 to secondary. So you tell me a nation that spends more than 100 or 10 times, right? This is 30 times the budget of, is it 30 times? Yeah. 30 times the education budget compared to missiles and guns, etc. That's a nation whose priorities are upside down.
Well, if you remember the late, great philosopher Tupac Shakur, he said,
I was expecting Aristotle, but okay.
we got money for wars, but we can't feed the poor.
Yeah.
The dude was way above his years. I mean, he was super wise. He just articulated it in a way that everybody couldn't understand it. But in this particular way, he has already said what we were going to do, and we are doing it. Follow the money, and that shows you where your level of importance is. But what they're doing now done stepped on the people's toes.
Well, there's something that they did just this past week that pissed you off, Jamil.
Ooh, child.
So beyond the dismantling of it, they've done something else which you took personally. What was that?
Them fools, because I ain't got another name, had the nerve to say, classify what is considered professional degrees and what is not. So let me just say, the professions are still the professions. That's not what we got to beef with. When you declassify, that's the term I'm going to use, a certain or a particular major, you reduce the amount of available low-cost funding that participants or students or potential students are eligible to get. And they had the nerve to say that nursing would no longer be considered a professional degree, but Lord, they kept theology.
That was the thing that
got
me.
Let's go back here. So I want to go back to 1965.
Take me back.
I'm going to tell you why this is a big deal. So this is from the Code of Federal Regulations, general definitions in those regulations for institutional eligibility under the Higher Education Act of 1965.
Okay.
They defined examples of a professional degree include but are not limited to pharmacy, dentistry, veterinary medicine, chiropractic, law, medicine MDs, optometry, osteopathic medicine, podiatry, and theology. So this is in the law from 1965. There's no mention of nursing there either. There's no mention of these other things, but there was that phrase, not limited to.
Okay, that's us.
So traditionally, for the last, how many years has it been since the 60s? 60.
Yeah.
Since the last 60 years, 60. Right? Just had to do my math.
Okay.
I have a math degree. This is what I was built for.
Okay.
For the last 60 years, nursing and these other medical fields were considered a profession. And why is that important? Because that entitles you to get certain loans for education from the government agencies to pay for these degrees, because the theory is it's better for society as a whole.
Correct.
To have more doctors and podiatrists and nurses, etc. More MDivs, more ministers, pastors. Okay, you know what? We got all these other ones. Why not more pastors too? But for some reason, they decided to change this definition, and nursing got cut. Other things got cut.
Okay, let me read
Well,
you.
I mean, it also feeds into the health, the whole Affordable Care Act thing too.
There you
right?
go.
They're already trying to dismantle that. You're putting a strain on the system by creating a shortage of nurses.
There you go.
Right.
Oh, and let's take away the subsidies too, so that people can't even get health insurance. Like you said, it's like they're taking apart the puzzle.
That's it. If we can't do it the legal way, there are ways that we can grab the lower fruit. So on that list is Masters of Nursing, DPN. So if you're a doctorate of a nurse practitioner, midwifery, Masters of Public Health, Doctor of Public Health, social work, physical therapies are a doctor of physical therapy, physical assistants, physician assistants, speech language pathology, counseling, and audit. So those are the ones that they are pulling from.
Saying you are no longer eligible for your education for these government loans.
Correct. And the ones that they kept was that 1965 list, so they reverted back. I tried to tell people, Stacey, that they was going to revert us back, but nobody was listening to me. Okay. So they reverting us back. So they rolled it back. So they're going to keep things like, blows my mind, law ain't going nowhere.
Right.
That will never go anywhere. The easiest way for me to sum up what we're about to experience is they are going to increase the health disparities nationwide.
I was listening to a U.S. Senator, and I forget who it was, Ruben Gallego, I think it was. And if I misquoted him, I apologize. Maybe it was Brian Schatz. It was one of those two. Said that Republicans are working overtime to make you poorer and sicker.
Good God.
Look at all of these. And that, Stacey, is exactly what you said. They're taking away your health insurance options, and they're taking away the educated professionals.
Yeah. Right.
They're making people poorer and sicker, and the Democratic policies are trying to make you wealthier and healthier.
Yeah.
There is no easier distinction between the two other than this.
And the frustrating part is people don't see it.
Yeah. So the Department of Education press secretary for higher education told, and this is Ellen Keast, told Newsweek, quote, "This is fake news at its finest. The department has had a consistent definition of what constitutes a professional degree for decades, and the consensus-based language aligns with this historical precedent. The committee, which included institutions of higher education, agreed on the definition that we will put forward in a proposed rule. We're not surprised that some institutions are crying wolf over regulations that never existed because their unlimited tuition ride on the taxpayer dime is over."
How much do you want to bet that they're going to be challenged for this decision in the courts because of the precedent of the 60 years that have been set by allowing those now declassified professions to be professions?
260,000 students currently enrolled in bachelor level of science in nursing, and around 42,000 enrolled in associate degrees in nursing, according to data by the American Nurses Association. That's 300,000 students who are going to say that this lady, Ellen Keast, is full of shit because if they were able to get the loans before and now they're not, then something has changed. And this isn't just free ride on the taxpayer's dime. You go to the hospital without nurses.
Goodness.
You change your own damn bedpan, right? Let's just see how that works out.
Yeah, I just want to see what Ellen would say when she needs a nurse and there's not one available.
Yeah, it's not happening. But if you look at
I hope when Ellen hits that little nurse's buzzer, nobody comes. I hope nobody comes.
Or they come and they say, "Oh, that's you, girl. Never mind. You don't need us. You don't need us. We not professional.
Right.
You don't need your pillow changed with that morphine drip. No, sorry.
Hold the morphine. Hold the morphine. I think we also need to look at the way these categories have been broken down. The very population are people who want us to understand that there are only two genders in their mind, male and female, are doing everything to create very strong differences between those two genders. If you look at the professions that have been declassified, that is predominantly women.
That's exactly, I was going to go point out that Mayra Rivera Vasquez, she's a congressional candidate over in District 1.
Yeah.
She put up a post saying Trump moves to downgrade women's jobs.
Yep.
The Trump administration wants to reclassify women-dominated professions as non-professionals.
That's
nurses, teachers, caregivers, social workers. Let's be clear, women's work is professional work. It always has been, always will be. Jamil, you are spot on.
That's it.
I
That's
mean,
it.
their goal has always been to get us back in the kitchen,
That's
pregnant
it.
and barefoot.
That's it.
Like, this is just one more piece of the puzzle.
That's it. And they're so strategic.
And why
with it.
barefoot? Where did that barefoot come from?
You
I don't know, but-
can't go anywhere.
Like, I
if you're
get you
barefoot.
going back in the
You're
kitchen
not
to
going,
cook,
are you going to go to the store barefoot? I'm not going to the store barefoot.
Yeah.
But who's going to do the shopping?
You got to stay at home.
I say,
he
okay,
might
look,
let you put your shoes on there.
Let's compromise and allow you some shoes. But,
Oh, we can get shoes?
You're one of the nice ones, Bill.
but you're not getting good shoes. You're not getting nice pumps.
You know who's quiet on this? And I need for somebody to tap her on the shoulder. Now, I know that Bill, our candidate for superintendent, state education superintendent, has been very vocal on what is happening. But the sitting state superintendent is quiet as 3 church mice doing Sunday morning service.
You know,
I just want to hear something, some type of words of encouragement, some type of direction, some type of plan being, she should be on every news channel, every media circuit, reconfirming to the South Carolinians, to the South Carolina population that, hey, there is a lot going on at the federal level. Here's the plan that South Carolina has to continue to educate your children. Somebody tap her. Say something. Nothing.
Well, if you missed Jamil in our last episode, you got a heavy dose of her today.
My
Let me
bad.
tell you, she is all into this. That is awesome.
That's crazy. She crazy.
That means our next news segment.
Oh, yeah. That means calm down, Jamil.
Nope,
Leave it
because we're
alone.
going to get you riled right back up.
Dang it.
Because we're going to touch a topic that pretty much hits every one of our episodes lately,
Okay.
and that's the hate crimes bill that we're trying to get through in Greenwood, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And Jamil, you have personally been up to city council to speak in their face three times?
Yeah.
3 times.
3 times.
Right? You're there more often than some of the city council members are. You've been up there
Bill.
3 times to talk to them about this.
Yeah.
Each time you said, this is my last time, and yet you go up again.
I go back.
You go back. And,
Yeah.
and in this past week, there has been some movement of epic proportions. Before we get into it, though, you shared with me a clip that I think is relevant to set the stage. And
Okay.
this is a discussion on the First Amendment, which I thought was really good. This actually was released by a TikToker named Ashley the Baroness.
Yeah.
And this came out soon after the Jimmy Kimmel incident where he was taken off the air.
Okay.
So let's hear what Ashley has to say.
Y'all see what happened to Jimmy Kimmel? It's interesting, though, how freedom of speech only becomes a national crisis when white people start losing their jobs behind what they say. Not when it was black voices, not when it was teachers, not when it was protesters. But now it's news. Because that First Amendment is finally being felt the way that it's always worked. For some, not for all. The First Amendment was added to the Constitution in 1791, right? It was supposed to guarantee free speech, free press, religion, protest, and petition. But from the very beginning, it came with limits, just unspoken ones. Black voices weren't protected. Indigenous voices weren't heard. Women's voices weren't even counted. Abolitionists had their printing presses burnt down. Newspapers that spoke out were violently silenced. The Sedition Act of 1798 made it literally illegal to criticize the government. So while yes, the First Amendment existed, it was never truly available to everyone. So fast forward to this year, 2025, right? People are being investigated, fired, doxxed. Not just for what they've done, but for what they said. Airline workers, teachers, students, artists, professors, nurses. Some are being punished for speaking up about Gaza. Some for criticizing CK. Some for just reposting something that made the wrong people uncomfortable. Now the conversation about the First Amendment is back in the spotlight. Not because this kind of suppression is new, but because it's hitting people that it doesn't usually touch. And that discomfort, that's what a lot of us have been trying to explain for generations. But let's be honest, because we know the First Amendment only protects you from government censorship, not from people disagreeing with you. But when public institutions, universities, or elected officials start silencing people over viewpoints that they don't like, that crosses the line. Because when speech becomes a litmus test for opportunity, employment, or safety, it's not really freedom, is it? It's performance. And it only protects the people in power. So what we're seeing right now isn't a breakdown of the First Amendment. It's an unveiling. People who always assumed that it would protect them are now realizing that it was never unconditional. And folks who've always walked on eggshells, we're just watching the rest of the country finally catch up. Free speech was never about who's right. It's about who's allowed. And when that starts shifting, everybody should be paying attention.
Oh, I like her.
Wow.
She did
She's
that.
good, yeah.
She did that.
So,
She is
Jamil,
good.
why did you share this clip in the context of your crusade here in the city of Greenwood?
Because in the city of Greenwood, I watch from a social media standpoint, whether the individuals are from the city or not, I watch different responses. And the number one consistently rebuttal to what I'm asking for has always been, there they go, is government overreach. They are infringing on my First Amendment right. It's all about it's freedom of speech. Get tougher skin. Suck it up. Those are the things that I continuously hear. And I need for the people who are writing this, first of all, I need them to read the First Amendment. Because you probably got a phrase out of it and you riding that to hell when you really need to understand what that consists of. And when we're talking about this ordinance, it is not about what you are saying. And I have said that since the very beginning. So I wanted to link her to what I'm saying because it's not about what or what you're saying. It's about what you do when you say it. It's more or less like that, sticks and stones may break my bones is what I explained to the council once before. We're not worried about, and they say words will never hurt me.
So we're not concerned
worried about the
me
words.
sitting here calling you all the racial epithets in the world.
You can call me anything, but just don't forget the doctor in the front of it and the NBA and the rest of the shit that come after it, because I'm lethal. And there are a lot of us that are lethal. So we're not bothered by the names. I even thought about, there's one negative connotation when it comes down to black people. They love to say they're monkeys. And I think I've told you this before. Like, I don't have a problem with being a part of that animal kingdom because that is one of the groups that have never perished. They have evolved through every type of oppression and anything destructive that have come for them. They've always surpassed it. So the insults that can be hurled, there's also a compliment in them. I'm not moved by what someone has to call me, but what you can't do is hurt me. And that is what this ordinance says. And our city attorney...
So tell me about this ordinance before you get to the city attorney. What is this ordinance? What happened? Because that didn't exist before.
It didn't. So the request that I had initially was that we implement some type of hate crime. There was a lot of back and forth about not being able to say hate crime because there was such a negative connotation and they did not support it and didn't like it. This is from members of society as well as council. The city attorney sent a letter to the attorney general, don't know why, to confirm if it was unconstitutional to institute a hate crime law. Now, this makes sense. Because a hate crime is not illegal in the state of South Carolina. You can't have an ordinance that says we're going to penalize you for a hate crime because according to South Carolina, it's not illegal to kill someone because of hate.
What?
That's the way it's written. He's not wrong with that. That's
So
the way
in
it's written.
general, and set aside hate crime, if there is no law in South Carolina saying I can't steal a car, right? Let's say that theft is not a law in South
Correct.
Carolina, then a city can't make a law to make theft of a car illegal. That's
Correct.
it has to be a law on the books.
Yes.
Now, how you punish an existing law is up to
Yes.
local ordinances.
You can be more stringent, but not less.
Yes.
Right? So that's typically it. So what his stance on that is absolutely correct. Never questioning his stance on that. What ended up happening was they compiled something that looks like a hate crime ordinance, but it will not be called that. It will be called, what do we say it was?
It was a prejudiced.
Yeah. So, and what he is stating is that they will be looking at the context in which prejudice was displayed. So it is just what I'm saying. It is what you beat someone nearly to death because you didn't like them because of their affiliation, gender, race, religion is what it would be.
So it allows municipal judges to impose civil fines on offenders whose actions are proven to be motivated by prejudice.
Correct.
Now, the language of this ordinance has not been made public yet.
It has not.
Which I'm surprised.
It has
thought,
not.
I mean, I get it's going through a first reading, but if you're seeking public input, why not seek public input? I mean, put the text out there for people to see. Maybe I just don't know the processes.
Yeah.
But I went searching for it for a
And you
long time
can't
and I can't
it.
find it.
But you can request it.
Can you?
I bet you can.
Do you have it?
I have the resolution.
When you have the resolution, nobody cares about a resolution.
Well, the resolution is the terminology from the ordinance.
No, there's two different things. They're separate. There's an ordinance and there's a resolution, completely separate.
There are two different things, and they're completely separate. But I'm telling you, they built the resolution on the back of the ordinance.
So the language is going to be very similar.
Correct. So if you've seen one, you're going to pretty much know what's in the other.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So again, it looks like.
So you showed up to the city council meeting because you saw this was on the agenda.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, what? You weren't even going to speak. You were just going to go sit and listen.
I just wanted to hear what they had to say.
And I think the most shocking thing out of this is how you did a 180 in your view of Mr. Five Fingers, the city attorney. 5. Right?
No, I didn't do a 180.
You made nice with him.
I didn't do it.
I saw public praise in the paper.
Well, I have to thank him for bringing a lot of things to attention. And if I'm going to do it, it's some shade in there. So let me tell you what the shade is that he didn't. I know. When he said 5 and he was speaking, I text Bill and I said, I wonder if I should throw my hand up and yell out 5. They would have put me out the meeting, so I did it. But and he asked them, he said, if you guys could just give me, with your permission, I would need more than 5 minutes. And I went, ain't that some, okay. But anyway, so he goes through this whole spiel and he says, hate, you cannot charge someone for hate. That's an emotion. And I thought, if you were defending me in court, I would lose. Like, his defense, in my opinion, was weak. That is not an attorney I would want to represent me. However, he's good at something because he's been a long-lasting attorney. But I thought the presentation was weak. But what he is saying makes sense. And he had the nerve to say that it was pretty much saying, like, this ordinance is written in such complex language that people just won't understand it. There's just no way you can understand it. And so if you don't understand these things, you should be seeking advice. And so, yes, it's very complicated. And I'm thinking to myself, with enough technology out here, you hadn't written anything that somebody can't decipher. So I need for him to stop playing it like it's too complicated for the citizens to actually understand. They're residents. If they want to know what it means, they will.
Listen, the zoning laws. You go to any citizen and ask them to explain zoning laws to you.
Not.
Then maybe we should get rid of all zoning then, right? By that logic.
Not.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But the premises here is, they'll do the couple of other readings. It hit the Index Journal. He was definitely upset about the presentation of this whole journey since the summer months from the Index Journal. I did not like his response to address that to the reporter that was in the room. I felt like that was a little tacky.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you. What did
so
he do?
When he first stood up, he made and I don't want to quote him because I'm going to misquote, but he made, and I'm paraphrasing, he made a response or a comment to the reporter that was in the room to say, well, you had it. You could have easily said the following. You could have done this. And it was almost like...
So during his time, he decided to spend some breaths.
Yes.
Telling the reporter how to do her job.
Roll the tape back, Greenwood City. Roll the tape back. And I thought, well, that's not what you're up here for. You've got to say what you've developed. And so he put forth what he believes is what he calls a side door to an ordinance that will allow people to be held accountable for actions that are linked to prejudice. So
this ordinance, as you best understand it, is this something that you are satisfied with?
It is a step in the right direction.
Okay. And you know what? At this stage, that's almost all you're asking for.
That's all I'm asking.
It's like, let's get some progress. And then maybe next year we'll fight a new battle. And the year after we'll fight a different battle.
Yeah.
But show something, guys.
Something. I'm just looking for something to go to show. And I've said this to them time and time again. I've had several conversations. And the bottom line is, I do know that this is a state issue. However, if the state doesn't do what they're supposed to do, it's up to the cities to show the state this is what we want. And if you have representation, we know ours from the House and the Senate just in the seat. We know that they're not going to click yes for anything. Then it's our job as residents of this city to say what it is we would like for our leaders to do when they're representing us. And if they're not going to do it, remove their behinds.
So there are 7 members on the city council. This language, was it read out loud?
It was not.
Okay, so they've circulated
parts of it.
They circulated internally. They had some discussions on it. They took it for a vote, and what was the vote?
The vote was 6-1.
That's amazing. In fact, were you surprised by that outcome?
No. I think I might have told you this before. I told someone this. Each time that I went, there was one disconnected individual. So I made sure I made eye contact with him. Because every time I mentioned hate crime or something of that nature, it was almost like he wished that he could just, like if he looked at me long enough, I would disappear. Or if he didn't look at me, I wouldn't be there.
So this individual is Councilman Ronnie Abels, and he was quoted in the article as to why he was the only one to vote against it.
Which is going to show his lack of education, but go ahead and read it.
He says, I don't think we need an ordinance. You're already committing a crime before this ever comes up. So why do we need additional laws here?
That goes to show you that he is disconnected with the residents in his areas.
He says, the main thing I'm hearing is, quote, I thought we had freedom of speech. I'm afraid it's going to be racially motivated. Every time something goes wrong, they're going to bring it up.
That's a person who don't need his seat. Now, I don't know, especially in Greenwood City and Greenwood County.
Every time something goes wrong, they're going to bring it up. What does that tell you about this individual, if that's the language he uses? They, every time. What does that mean?
It just means that he is looking at black people. And he thinks that black people are going to cry hate crime every time. And I have read posts on the Index Journal, and I don't respond because, I have people seeking therapy. So I don't get into arguments with people online.
Well, good, because I'm going to read right now a bunch of the Facebook reactions that this article got. You ready?
Go. Okay.
This one is from Troy. Who gets to decide what prejudice means?
Read it. Stop talking. Go to the next one, Bill. This is what I'm talking about.
Raven says, wow, now everything will be blamed on racism. Good going.
Stop being racist.
It's just that simple.
Right.
But if he keeps reading, you're going to see that the only racism they see is between white and black people.
Vaughn chimed in, I am 100% against any imbecilic jive such as this.
Great.
We have more than enough laws in the books to punish criminals. We don't need more.
Great.
This is the same Vaughn. I actually went through his Facebook timeline, and he also once posted, so the South Carolina teachers are all in with the racist, Marxist, hate-filled teaching, and they're telling their students to keep secrets from their parents. They know what they're doing is wrong, just like the molesters they are. They're making sure the kids keep quiet about it.
Okay, great. I bet he voted for Trump.
This is a sane individual.
He sounds sane.
Yeah. Finally, Sheena, whoever controls the definition controls the power. And we all know they changed this to fit their agenda.
There. See, it's that there and that they. My frustration comes from people's inability to see anything racist or discriminatory except for black and white. That's all we see. We only see black and white. And I'm just going to say what I said before. All them people that you read, they're racist as racist can be. I read one comment that said, well, this just going to show you how that black people are more racist than white people. Okay. Let me see that.
Now, it's funny. You had this city councilman who mischaracterized what this ordinance would do, and then the city lawyer clarifies that the ordinance targets conduct, not speech. Conduct. And you said it perfectly in that clip that I played of you in our episode 2 episodes ago, where you said that, yes, the speech you use while committing the crime can impact the type of charges you receive. You know, murder is murder, right? No, there's different types of murder, right? We just had a woman in Greenwood get parole after many years. She murdered her husband.
Boyfriend,
thank you. Mm-hmm. But she had been suffering through years of traumatic abuse, right? And she, in self-defense, committed this act, right? That is different. There is context. So it's not just a crime is a crime is a crime. There's context.
And they know that.
Yes.
But when you are guilty of something, you would do whatever you can to make sure you're not.
So the lawyer clarified that it's conduct, not speech, is part of this. And the city councilman, Ronnie Abel, says, it didn't change my vote. I voted for my feelings. I'm not afraid to raise my hand and be the only one.
Pause right there.
What?
Didn't this attorney say at the beginning of his spiel that we don't act on feelings? Now, that's what the city attorney said. So we ain't going to talk about hate because hate is a feeling.
Isn't this the party of F your feelings?
That's what it is.
And but yet his feelings matter.
His feelings.
All right, any final words on that?
No, we'll just keep following, but it's not a Jamil fight. It's a fight that the people should be a part of.
Yes.
And so you should be demanding more. So show up. Listen to what they're saying. Don't just let these things go under the radar.
Did you show up in any official capacity whatsoever, Jamil,
Nope.
when you showed up 3 times?
Nope.
You showed up as
A citizen. I intentionally did not align myself with any of the groups that I'm a part of.
And again, you were speaking on behalf of a lot of people. You had people pack the room, to support you on this. But I got to give you all the credit in the world. I mean, this is just one small thing in one small city in this country of ours.
Yeah.
And yes, you raised your voice. You made it uncomfortable for them week after week. You did it in a calm, logical, intelligent manner.
Thanks.
Hats off to you. I'm very proud of you. And now I'm thinking, what's going to be my rallying cry? What am I like? I know I'm thinking, what is going to be my cause that I'm going to go to? I don't live in the city.
Yeah.
But what am I going to go to county council and annoy them with every week
Yeah.
until change occurs? I got to find my thing.
There's a lot.
It's fun.
It is.
That's fun. Congratulations.
Thanks, Bill.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Black, White, and Blue in the South. Thank you, Stacey, for visiting us this week.
Yay, Stacey.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Oh, yeah. Listen to The Whole Truth with Stacey Mars and Charles Morris. You can find it on Spotify and Apple. That's it. We don't have a CBS list yet. We're working on it, though.
We're trying to bring her into the big media fold.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Yes. Well, anyhow, thank you very much, and we do look forward to that. A link to your show is in our show notes.
Good.
We hope you enjoyed what you heard today. Please take a quick minute and leave us a rating and a review of the show. We really want to know what you think. Your reviews drive search engines and make us more visible to new subscribers. If you do, Bad Bunny will perform at the Super Bowl sounding like this just to piss off the MAGA. If you are a blue dot in a red sea, keep the faith, keep up the hard work. Change only happens over the course of many years of work and dedication. Our closing quote comes from comedian Mark Marone. We opened with a comedian, we're going to close with a comedian.
Okay.
And he had this to say about Democrats. Let's give this a listen.
Progressives have really got to figure out how to deal with this buzzkill problem. I know these are important issues, but you do realize we annoyed the average American into fascism. You do realize that.
That is a topic we'll have to address in another episode. And that's it.
Cool beans. The end.
The preceding podcast is solely owned by its host or hosts and is distributed by Big Media LLC. Copyright 2025, all rights reserved.